Hi, we're back in Ruth's kitchen, but this time we're working on an art project. And I'm going to take you straight to the pot where I've been boiling half of a red cabbage. And I just turned it off a few minutes ago, and what you can see is that the water is a beautiful purple. So I'm going to take you into my next step. I've been dyeing paper with vegetables. So I have a little dish here. It's not the one I normally use. I normally use like a Pyrex dish, a little bit bigger than this, but I can't seem to find it, which tells me I must have it in the refrigerator with something yummy in it. So I'm moving to my square Tupperware, and if I had a rectangular Tupperware, I would use that instead, but I don't right now. So I took a sheet of printer paper and I cut it to accommodate this dish, and it just about fits perfectly in here. So I ended up with 2 sheets from that and this little leftover bit that maybe I'll do in 2 sections into that. So I'm going to go get that pot of hot water, and we're going to pour it. This is why I had to let it cool a bit. It's still pretty steamy, so hopefully this won't void the Tupperware warranty. But look at that color. It's like blue. Blue from a red cabbage. I expected purple because it does kind of look purple in there, but when I poured it out, it is the most beautiful blue. So I'm going to do a couple things here. I want to do different lengths of time in the water without burning myself. All right, I'm moving some pieces that I had previously dyed. I was dyeing with tomatoes earlier and carrots, but I didn't video that. Okay, so I'm going to start first with this little skinny strip, and off to the side I have a piece of wax paper to put this on because you don't want to set it on your counter. I'm going to just dip and hold and hold and hold and pull it out, and you'll see that there's a slight color change. In fact, I'm going to keep this one just to show the slight color change. In fact, when I set it down, you can definitely see the color change. So this one, I'm going to hold probably twice as long. And I'm just holding it in the water so that this end stays white, and the other end of it will get the dye from the red cabbage. How many of you would have bet on red cabbage producing a blue dye? Not me, that's for sure. Alright, so I'm going to put this one down on the wax paper. And it doesn't look a lot different. Let's see if I can turn this around. This was the first one. This is the second one. About the same. So, I'm going to put a whole sheet in here, but I'm going to let it sit, the whole sheet, a long time. And I'll come back. I want to push this all the way down because there's pieces of it stuck up. Okay. Snug as a bug in the rug. Now, the one thing that I have learned, oh, there's a piece of cabbage. One thing I've learned is when you pull the paper out, don't reach in, providing the water is cooled, but don't reach in and try and pull it up. That's when it rips. And I have plenty to show you what ripped paper looks like. What I found works best is to try to slide it up the side and then kind of get hold of it as it's, I guess I could do it this way. Slide it up the side, get hold of it as it's coming up, and just pull it straight up out of the water. So I am going to let this sit in here until this water is much cooler. I'll probably let it sit a good half hour. So I'm going to hit pause and we'll come back. So I'm unpausing you for a minute because I thought of something else to do. Since I do still have this pot with cabbage and water in it, I'm going to take this extra piece of paper that's left and put it in on top of the cabbage and smush it down into the water. And I'm hoping that we'll get a lot of like texture looking wrinkles out of it. That's what I'm hoping for. So let's see if I can move you over here to watch. Why don't I just flip this around? There. Okay, so now I'm going to push this down. I'm going to help it wrinkle. Oops, it ripped. Wow. Okay, I'm going to have to be really careful when I take this out. In fact, it might be coming out in pieces. Darn. Well, the concept was good, but we do have a bunch of rips in it now. So I'm going to let it sit here a while. And then I'll come back and try and pull it up. And that one that's in there. It really is in there. I don't want to mess with it though because I don't want to rip it. This one I feel like I should put some of the liquid on top. Maybe I could move some of the cabbage around to be on top. That might have been a better... There. Well, we'll see. But isn't that pretty, the cabbage? It's so many colors right now. I would have loved to have captured some of that purple. But oh well, we'll take blue. All right, see you in a little while. Okay, I set the timer and I've waited about 30 minutes. And so I'm going to, I can now touch this water that you can't see. There. It is like Luke cool at this point. So first I'm gonna try and slide this up. And I'm trying not to fold it. It's not sliding the way I like it to slide. My other dish is so much better at that. Okay, you might not be able to tell without a piece of white paper next to it. Here's one of the two little strips from before. There's some white, and it's starting to break down in my hand, so I really need to set this down. And I should have gotten a new piece of wax paper out, but I didn't. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate, but I'm going to turn the camera around so I can show you. All right, so this tear, I'm kind of tapping it because sometimes you can get the fibers to rejoin. At least you can when we make paper. So I'm kind of hoping that we can do the same thing here. I'm just pressing harder on it now with the back of this spoon. And now I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, so we have the paper that's still in here. And I'm going to get another piece of wax paper, and I'll pause this for a minute. Okay, here's a new piece. Oops, let's turn you around. You can Violet. All right, here's a new piece, and I'm going to save this water over here. And mop up some of the little droplets. Here's, you can kind of tell, well, it just kind of looks wet to you probably. But, all right. So, I'm going to pull some of the leaves out one by one. Let's see. I'll set them. Gosh, that is just so pretty. I wish I could use that in an art piece, but I'm afraid that it would rot. All right, so I'm just pulling leaves out so that I don't have to pull really hard on the paper. Okay. This is still slightly warm, but nowhere near painful. It's like warm bath water. Whereas the other container was pretty darn cold. It was very cool. So I have another idea of putting a piece of plain paper down and then piling these leaves on top of it. And I want to do that. Yikes. Okay, this will be like a puzzle to put back together. Ew. A really good puzzle. Okay, so I'm literally laying these pieces on, see if I can pull it back far enough for you to see, onto the wax paper as flat as possible. Whoa. Okay. Yikes. All right, so these are going to make really nice pieces for our collage, just not a full paper, not a full page. Whew, wow. Okay, you go over there. But I will show you something that I did the other day. While these are still wet, I want to make sure I have all the paper out. It's really hard to tell. Yeah, I guess I do. I don't see any more pieces of paper in here. Okay, I'm going to put these pieces closer together, and I'm going to grab another sheet of copy paper. I'll be right back. Okay. Here's a full sheet of copy paper. I just folded it, and I'm going to tear it in half because it's an easier size to work with. And I'm going to lay this very quickly on top of these wet leaves. And then I'm going to move it over, and I'm going to lay this piece down. Oh, I should have got another piece. Okay, and I'm laying these leaves on here. I am actually very excited about how this could turn out. Let's see, you want the flattest ones possible, but yet they have wrinkles in them. You just don't want the big old chunky ones. Okay, and I'm gonna go get another piece of paper. I'm gonna put it on top of this. Let's see, got any more flat stuff in here? Oh, here. Okay. And here. Oh, yeah, we could do a few of these. Okay, another piece of paper. Whoops, let me hit pause. I only hit pause so that you don't have to wait while I'm running over there to the printer. Alright, I'm going to put this on here, and it would really be nice to have something. Ooh, it's ripping a little bit. I have this heavy box. It's not really heavy. Oh, this would have been better. Here we go. Cutting board first. It can go across the whole thing. You look around when you want something heavy, and you'll usually find something. Yes, my blender base. This needs to be a little heavier. Might as well put the blender back together. What can I put on this box? Well, it's probably done what it's going to do. So, whoops. Oh, it's under the board. I was going to say it took it with it. All right. Let's see how this did. Put this one over here. This one looks like it's ready to be peeked at. That's the one that it was pieces of paper, and we put this flat paper on top of it. Now some other pieces will probably